Difficult and painful as it is, we must walk on in the days ahead with an audacious faith in the future. And as we continue our charted course, we may gain consolation in the words so nobly left by that great black bard, who was also a great freedom fighter of yesterday, James Weldon Johnson. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died. Out from the gloomy past, till now we stand at last, where the bright gleam of our bright star is cast. Let this affirmation be our ringing cry. It will give us the courage to face the uncertainties of the future.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it sound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun, let us march on till victory is won.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
Good morning, Faith UCC.
Good morning, everybody. Join me in opening our service with this gathering litany based on the incredibly beautiful poem, The Hill We Climb, on this final Sunday in Black History Month. Amanda Gorman. Any more sound? More sound, Casey. We gather here, not broken, but unfinished. We lift our eyes to the hills, knowing that light always prevails.
There is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it.
If only we're brave enough to be it.
We are the light, the hope, the dawn breaking anew.
We are the successors of a nation not divided, but determined.
Determined toward the path of justice and joy.
We will rise from the golden hills and the windswept cities.
We will rise from every valley and every village.
We will climb not because the road is easy,
but because the promise is clear and the purpose is greater.
so let us stand together in spirit and in truth.
And worship the one who calls us
Forward. Oh, what a beautiful poem. If you haven't read that one in a while, it's a good day to pull that out and give it a read. Hey, we're going to open up our service today with a classic. You all know this one. Precious Lord. It just felt like a good Sunday to sing this one. If you don't know the story, Thomas Dorsey wrote this song after he lost his wife and baby immediately. He was on stage in St. Louis performing a show, and a person ran up to him with a Western Telegram note and said, "Your wife is dead." And she'd just given birth an hour earlier, and both her and her son died. So he wrote this song in the throes of that grief to give himself and the world incredible hope in trying times. So let's rise up in body or spirit and swoon to this one. You know it. Precious Lord, take my hand. That song every time that we sang it. Precious Lord. Beautiful song. Good morning, everybody. Good morning and welcome to Faith United Church of Christ on this final Sunday, as I said before, in Black History Month, on a chilly morning here in Dunedin, Florida. Special welcome to any friends that have come home, family that have come to be with us, and any other visitors that we have with us. We're delighted to have you here, whether you're in person or you are online. As we always say to our online folks, wherever you are, at least for this hour, hey, online folks, you're right here, and we're happy that you are. If you're in person with us and you're like, I kind of like what I'm experiencing here, we have a friendship book in the gathering space where you can put your information and we can collect that and get you on our newsletter list. And there will be a newsletter going out this week, so if you have anything for that, send my way or send to office at faithucc.org, and we'll get that in. Yeah, so welcome everybody. Just glad to be here. And what a beautiful way to open up the service. Look at this choir up here. Wow. I have some joys I want to celebrate as we journey into this service. Chuck and Pam, we celebrated last week, but their anniversary was the 21st. Happy 60th anniversary to you guys. Hope you celebrated mightily. Absolutely. We also have Jan Goodwin, who has a birthday on Friday. So we say happy birthday to you, Jan. And anybody else have a birthday this week? Yeah? No other birthdays this week or anniversaries. If you do, a special happy birthday to you and happy anniversary. Strings and Things, another joy, performed at the Rotary Showcase on Friday night up on stage. It was wonderful. I think it's going to be the kickoff for their world tour. I think that's starting soon because they are showing up everywhere. And the Rotary event was down at the community center. It was a phenomenal event. Tom emceed it. And I got to tell you, Jeff Gow Commissioner Gao got me at one point, and he said, "You guys are killing it." And I said, "What are we doing?" And he said, "Your front yard looks phenomenal." He goes, "What a transformation." He said, "It's a thing of beauty. It's an inspiration for people to put some native plants back into Florida and just get rid of the concrete, you know, and the tar." So he said, "Nice job." Pass that on to the congregation, so I'm passing on Jeff's words to y'all. Another joy, Lily James. She had a preventative surgery last week, and she's at home recovering now, so it's a concern and a joy, but she has no signs of cancer. She wanted to celebrate that. Give you, Lily. And then I want to extend a special welcome to Marge Brown's family. Come all the way from overseas to be with us. We're delighted that you're here. Thanks for bringing everybody out, Marge, and we wish you a special welcome and hope you'll stick around and enjoy some hospitality today. And we have our sign language interpreter here is Amber Musco, and she was with us last year. So welcome, Amber. We're glad that you are here as well. Another quick joy to plug, Mardi Gras is next week. One of our most cherished days here. So we'll have a 5-minute service, and then we'll get outside for Mardi Gras. So wear your craziest beads, wear your hats, your jester hats, come in juggling, whatever you want to do, and we'll celebrate Mardi Gras next week. It's $5 to get you a burger and cheese, a cheeseburger, a burger with cheese. That's what that is. And all sorts of other good stuff. And if you still haven't signed up to bring a dish and you'd like to, we can have all the food that you want to bring. So sign up for it or just bring a dish, and we'll just have a good time. Let us know today. Okay, salads, beans, desserts, drinks, and ice. Those are the things that we need. So if you can bring any of that, sign up on the sheet today, and that'll help us out for planning for next week. So, and Cliff's famous jambalaya is coming, I heard. Ellery, are we still on for that? Yes, all right. That's worth the price of admission right there. Just one final joy here. It's got this note, 2/21/25. Carolyn Scheuer, you great-grandchild. Rowan. 22nd great-grandchild, Rowan. Yeah. Celebrate. Wow. Whew. Other joys there? I'm from New Jersey. Welcome. Glad you're here. Glad you came and joined us today. Yeah. And you just met at the Blue Jays game and said, "Why don't you come to church with me tomorrow?" You won't believe this place. Oh, that is funny. And hey, that's good baseball. Good stuff, right? You know how I love baseball. Any other joys? And Jane are in the house today. Joyful Sunday, that is. I wonder if you will. I just felt like I was in a coffee mood. I wonder if you'll just take a few breaths with me. Focus on our breathing for just a moment before we hear some words from Howard Thurman, who we're going to talk about today in the sermon. Man, I love becoming to appreciate him more and more by the day. So breathe in a sense of peace and joy, gratitude, the good stuff. As you let go, try and let go of some of that anxiety that I know we're all carrying in these times. The worries and the fears. Breathe in this present moment. Remind yourself that it is a sacred, beautiful moment of togetherness in the Spirit of God. words of Howard Thurman.
Lord, Lord, open unto me. Open unto me light for my darkness. Open unto me courage for my fear. Open unto me hope for my despair. Open unto me peace for my turmoil. Open unto me joy for my sorrow. Open unto me strength for my weakness. Open unto me wisdom for my confusion. Open unto me forgiveness for my sins. Open unto me tenderness for my toughness. Open unto me love for my hates. Open unto me thyself for myself. Lord, Lord, open unto me.
those who were troubled with unclean spirits were cured. And everyone in the crowd was trying to touch him, for power came out from him and healed all of them. Then he looked up at his disciples and said, "Blessed are you who are poor, for yours is the kingdom of God. Blessed are you who are hungry now, for you will be filled. Blessed are you who weep now, for you will laugh. Blessed are you when people hate you, and when they exclude you, revile you, and defame you on account of the Son of Man. Rejoice on that day and leap for joy, for surely your reward is great in heaven, for that is how their ancestors treated the prophets. But woe to you who are rich, for you have received your consolation. Woe to you who are full now, for you will be hungry. Woe to you who are laughing now, for you will mourn and weep. Woe to you when all speak well of you, for that is how their ancestors treated the false prophets.
Guess we better stop laughing. It sounded good, didn't it? Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive, and go do it. Because what the world needs is more people who have come alive, said Reverend Dr. Howard Thurman, pastor, prophet, civil rights leader, and inspirer, mystic, and to many, heretic, my favorite. I'm guessing some of you have never heard of this man, Howard Thurman. I mentioned him often. We used some of his stuff last week. And I know you've sung his words if you've ever been here around Christmas, because he wrote that famous song, "I am the light of the world." We hear the words, "When the song of the angels is stilled, when the star in the sky is gone, when the kings and the princes are home, when the shepherds are back with their flocks, the work of Christmas begins." And what is it? It's to find the lost, it's to heal the broken, it's to feed the hungry, to release the prisoner, to rebuild the nations, to bring peace among people, to make music in the heart. I am the light of the world. You people come and follow me. And if you follow and love, you'll learn the mystery of what you were meant to do and be. What great lyrics, aren't those? I'd like to go sing that song in Washington right now. Howard Thurman's been on my mind a lot lately. One, it's Black History Month, and he is among the greatest of all theologians in history. I will say that, in history. Second, he's on our mind because of the instability of our nation, especially because of the ongoing hijacking of Jesus by white Christian nationalism and their fabrication of an image of Jesus that just doesn't jive with what we know of him and his way, not even close. Thurman and his story, especially his phenomenal book, I'm going to bring it out here, Jesus for the Disinherited, offer an excellent resource for us today to help push back on that Christian nationalist narrative and reclaim a Jesus who is for the suffering, as we just heard, not for the powerful and those who would like to use him as a tool for their sick, demented, and twisted purposes. And finally, I'm going to be preaching a lot on that theme in the coming months, so hang on to that one. And finally, as someone recently said about Thurman, he was 100 years ahead of his time 50 years ago, so he is still 50 years ahead of you and me today. So it's his story that I want to tell on this final Sunday in Black History Month. First, a little biographical information on Howard Thurman. He was born in Daytona, right here in Florida, in 1899 into a very poor but deeply loving family. His grandmother, who would be a very big influence in his life and in his developing thought, she was a slave, a former slave, on a plantation in Madison County, Florida, up near Tallahassee. But she taught Howard many things and instilled her deep Christian faith in him. She taught him about suffering, but how they leaned on their faith to get through the hardest of times, and she went through some really hard times. And she taught him about the dignity and the self-worth of each and every person, especially those who were oppressed, or as he often called folks, disinherited. Thurman said, I learned more about the genius of the religion of Jesus from my grandmother than from all the men who taught me all the Greek and all the rest of it. She taught him about love and dignity and worth and overcoming great pain, and she planted the early seeds in him that Jesus, like his grandmother, like black folks living under the vicious racism and lynchings and segregation, was very much the same. A disinherited man living under oppressive conditions with his back against the wall. That notion, that line will later frame all of his thinking as he grew to become a champion for all people whose backs were against the wall. So Thurman, he goes and he does what was difficult for a young black man to do in those days. He went to high school. And did you know at that time there were only 3 schools for black kids in Florida? 3. Of all the schools, 3. So he went to one in Jacksonville. He graduates with high honors and then attends college at Morehouse. You all heard of that? He graduates as valedictorian of his class. He's a smart guy. For enrolling in and graduating from Colgate Rochester Divinity School in New York. And then he went on and he was ordained a Baptist minister in 1925. And from 26 to 28, he pastors a congregation in Oberlin, Ohio. Anybody from Oberlin, Ohio in here? I don't know, anybody from Ohio in here? There we go. All right, we're getting closer. Before returning to Atlanta, anybody from Atlanta in here? There you go. To teach theology at both Morehouse College and Spelman College, schools I know we hear a lot about. And then in 1932, Howard Thurman accepts a prestigious offer to become professor of theology and dean of the Rankin Chapel at Howard University, where he would remain until 1944, when his life swerved and he went and founded an amazing place that is still going strong to this day. And I'm going to tell you about that in a bit, because I think we're close to what they're trying to do there. But it was in those early years, teaching theology at Howard and preaching regularly at the Rankin Chapel, the famous Rankin Chapel, that Howard Thurman honed his vision of Jesus and therefore of Christianity. And it was there he began dreaming of civil rights for all people. And he started to develop his vision of a world that breaks down religious barriers and really all barriers that divide people along lines of race, right? And class and gender and religion. In fact, in 1935, Howard Thurman, along with his dynamic wife, Sue Bailey, they led a 6-month delegation of African Americans to India. Keep in mind, this is in the 1930s, to meet with the leaders of several regions. And they were invited to meet and spend time in conversation over several weeks with Gandhi, the first black pastor. Gandhi and Thurman quickly, they hit it off. They developed a warm relationship, and they remained friends until Gandhi's death in 1948. But one of the things that Thurman spent a great deal of time on with Gandhi was this notion of nonviolence and its role in changing the world through peaceful means, not through power and war. Thurman was surprised by Gandhi's words on nonviolence, however. He reported to have said, when Thurman asked him, what message can he bring back to the people of the United States? Gandhi said, that's one of my regrets was that he had not carried the message of nonviolence as a visible practice to the world, and that, quote, it may be through the Negroes that the unadulterated message of nonviolence will be delivered to the world, end quote. That's from Gandhi. And sure enough, it was. For several years later, when Thurman became the first ever African-American dean of a predominantly white college at Boston University, there was a young man there studying for his doctorate. Do you know what that young man's name was? Happened to have his shirt on. Martin Luther King Jr. In a great, worlds colliding. In a great documentary called, you can find it on YouTube, by the way, and I highly recommend it, called Backs Against the Wall. Stories are told how often King would come to hear Thurman preach. He became a real student of Thurman's. He took copious notes, and that Thurman became kind of a spiritual mentor and a father to the young King, and how King would stop by his home on Sunday afternoons for a very important ritual that they would do together, to watch Jackie Robinson play baseball and drink beer. Speaking of baseball, these two were close, and King absorbed the teachings of nonviolence that Thurman had brought back from his time with Gandhi. According to the documentary, King quickly got a chance to apply the lessons he learned from hearing Thurman preach. 6 months after earning his doctorate, he led his first nonviolent mass protest in Montgomery, Alabama. Thurman's concepts about nonviolence and Jesus are peppered through some of King's writings. And though Thurman stayed in the background, you won't hear his name mentioned a lot in the civil rights movement. He was more kind of a mentor, elder to it, and it gave strength then to folks like King or John Lewis or Bayard Rustin and so many others to make civil rights a reality through nonviolence, not through violence. Because there was a time when it was gonna go that way. Forces wanted it to be violent, but he said, no, we have to hold to nonviolence. Some criticized him for staying in the background. Someone even said, many expected Thurman to be a Moses, but instead they got a mystic. But either way, the story of civil rights cannot be understood fully without the story of Howard Thurman. But still today, so many have no idea who he is. Going back to India, I want to share a story that Thurman recounts in his book, Jesus and the Disinherited. It's of a conversation that he had with a Hindu legal scholar at a conference they were attending. It's a bit honest, and you can say it's a bit rough, even to hear it, but it seems that it's relevant. Well, it's very relevant because it was in this time that Thurman was developing his image of Jesus as a dispossessed and oppressed Jewish man in relation to who he was as a dispossessed and oppressed black man. So here's how the conversation went as he lays it out. We drank our coffee in silence. After the service had been removed, he said to me, "What are you doing over here? I know what the newspapers say about a pilgrimage of friendship and rest, but that is not my question. What are you, Howard Thurman, doing over here?" And he said, "This is what I mean. More than 300 years ago, your forefathers were taken from the western coast of Africa as slaves. The people who dealt in the slave traffic were Christians. One of your famous Christian hymn writers, Sir John Newton, made his journey from the sale of slaves to the New World. He is the man who wrote How Sweet the Sound of Jesus and Amazing Grace. There may be others, but these are the only ones I know. The name of one of the famous British slave vessels was Jesus. The men who brought the slaves were Christians. Christian ministers, quoting the Christian apostle Paul, gave the sanction of religion to the system of slavery. Some 70 years or more ago, you were freed by a man who was not a professing Christian, but was rather the spearhead of certain political, social, and economic forces, the significance of which he himself did not understand. During all the period since you have lived in a Christian nation in which you were segregated, lynched, and burned. Even in the church, I understand, there is segregation. One of my students who went to your country sent me a clipping telling about a Christian church in which the regular Sunday worship was interrupted so that many could join a mob against one of your fellows. When he had been caught and done to death, they came back to resume their worship of their Christian God." Whew. And he ends with this: "I am a Hindu. I do not understand. Here you are in my country, standing deep within the Christian faith and tradition. I do not wish to seem rude to you, but sir, I think you are a traitor to all the darker people of the earth. I'm wondering what you, intelligent man, can say in defense of your position." Ouch. Told you it was honest, right? So Thurman tells us that the conversation went on for about 5 hours, back and forth. And in it, and in the later years as he developed it, Thurman's driving force as a Christian, a black Christian, knowing full well the savagery of white Christian history, was to, in his own words, interpret Jesus as religious subject rather than a religious object. He's one of the earliest theologians to really reframe for American Christianity an image of Jesus not through the lens of white Christianity as a man to be worshipped, as an object to be worshipped, but by putting him back in his context as a Jewish man living under the full and crushing weight of oppression. He's the first person to really do this. Jesus, for Thurman, could not be separated from this oppressive context that shaped him. Can't take him out as a white guy and stick him on a cross and say, just believe in him, and you'll go to heaven. You can't do that. For Thurman, as a man living under oppression himself, he recognized fully the oppression of Jesus as well. And what will become the hallmark of his vision of Christianity, Jesus was a man living with his back against the wall. A Jewish man dispossessed at every moment by the crushing weight of Roman Empire. Yet he resisted. And he did not resist through violence, he resisted through nonviolence. The same went for the African American community that Thurman was a part of. That is what he explained to his Hindu friend, that his community is one that is dispossessed, just like Jesus was. They had their backs against the wall, just like Jesus did. And so he saw their liberation tied directly to Jesus and his context, not the white church that tried to confine and imprison Jesus in a box. Any expression, in other words, of who Jesus was and is has to begin with the marginalized, the oppressed, and the dispossessed, those with their backs against the wall. And with that vision of Jesus, Thurman could remain wholeheartedly Christian and could use Jesus with his back against the wall to speak a word of hope to any group, any time that had their backs against the wall as well. He created a universal image of Jesus that is present wherever oppression was and is to be found. He brought to life Jesus' words, literally, like we heard today in our scriptures, those beautiful Beatitudes. Blessed are the poor, blessed are the hungry, the excluded. And that we heard last week in our scripture reading, when it came time to proclaim the good news to the poor and to let the oppressed go free and to free the prisoners from their chains and to lift the burdens off of all those who were carrying heavy ones because of who they were and how they were oppressed. He spent his life developing that vision of Jesus and Christianity, and in the end, he left us the heartbeat of the civil rights movement and an image of Jesus who is not an object to be worshipped, but as a spiritual genius to be followed in all times of oppression. I love this man. Love this man. Does it show? I want to share one more thing about Howard Thurman, because I believe that this is where we are, Faith UCC, trying to get to where he was going with our own vision of openness and inclusion and the diversity that we long for. I see our future in this story I'm about to tell you. Thurman was, he truly is, it's the one that shows me he truly is 50 years ahead of where we are even today, even though he died in 1981. It began in 1944, in the decade before he went on to inspire MLK at Boston University. Thurman left Howard University. He moved across the nation to San Francisco, where he created what I teased earlier, an amazing place for its time that is still going strong to this very day. I just watched some of their sermons from last weekend. You see, for Thurman, God is universal, and particular religions are merely ways we express our images and understandings of God, often based on the particular cultures that we grow up in. I'm a firm believer in exactly that. So with that idea central to him, and this is where the mystic comes in, he partnered with another man named Alfred Fisk, a white minister, and they decided to take a chance to build something new, something that people said was impossible. You can't do this, sirs. You can't do this. As a spiritual community where all people could come and gather and share a spiritual experience together. And I mean all people. This place these two founded was and is still called the Church of the Fellowship of All Peoples. Anyone ever been there? Dang, I was hoping there was be one. The nation's first intentionally interracial, interfaith church. Think about that. According to their website, in 1944, during World War II, when the world seemed to be on the verge of annihilating one another, Dr. Thurman, with Dr. Alfred Fisk and other visionaries, acted on their belief that people of different races, nationalities, cultures, and faiths could find common ground by gathering for profound worship experiences over a sufficient time and duration. This common ground would undercut all the socially imposed barriers that separate humanity. This was the genius of our journey. It continues to be the heart of our congregation. How cool is that? A spiritual community in which our common humanity and the divine spark that burns in each of us beyond the imposed categories that we build and judge and use, that was built by Thurman. I was already a Thurman lover before I discovered that community, but I'm even more so now. Check it out later today and go to their website, the Church of the Fellowship of All Peoples, for they are the future. And Howard Thurman created it for us 81 years ago. He was just ahead of his time, and we're finally realizing that today. In closing, my hope is that you are also inspired by this man, inspired by Howard Thurman and his story, and that we can continually strive to be a Howard Thurman church, to dream dreams of more inclusion and of building the kind of beloved community that he built out there in San Francisco. I know we're on the path towards that. I know we are. And it may take some more change in how we see ourselves as a community, not just as a Christian community. I mean, we have what? We have Jewish folks here. We have Boo Jews. We got the Boo Jews, right? Is the Boo Jew here? Oh, yeah, there she is. All right. And as we learned at the comedy show, that's not B-O-O-J-E-W. It's Buddhist Jewish, right? Yeah. So don't think it's anything offensive. It's not. So we want to build that same thing, a spiritual community that is open to all expressions. That's going to take some work. It's also going to take some letting go. It's going to take some letting go of some sacred cows. You heard that term, the sacred cows, the things you just never let go of. You just hang on to them and you cling to them. And maybe in how we identify ourselves. Like maybe changing the name of our church. I'm just throwing out ideas, folks. Faith doesn't inspire a lot of people anymore. It just doesn't. So I'm just saying, maybe it's time we have an examination of what that would mean for us. I'm not saying we just do it. We talk about it. Have conversations about it. Because if I'm a younger person coming down and I see Faith United Church of Christ, I'm driving right on by. And I'm saying my grandma's probably in there. I could go say hi to her and then get out of there as quick as I can. Because it's called faith. I don't know. Just throwing it out there. So it's going to take some hard, honest conversations about who we are and where we are going. But thanks to Howard Thurman and his story that he's already lived for us, I'm more confident than ever that we are on the path towards that kind of future. I'll close with his words here. As he reminds us, listen to the long stillness. New life is stirring. New dreams are on the wing. New hopes are being readied. Humankind is fashioning a new heart. Humankind is forging a new mind. God is at work. This is a season of promise. Thank you, Howard Thurman, and happy continued Black History Month to you all. Amen. I don't usually do this for church services, but I typed in, some progressive potential church names just to have a little fun. I prompted mystical, I prompted welcoming, progressive, the prompts. Here, I'll just share a few. It's just lighthearted, not serious. The Open Gate Collective. River of Light Fellowship. Starry Way Community. This one I kind of like. Soul Seed Gathering. Harmony Rising Collective. Threshold of Hope Community. Wind and Whisper Fellowship. Eternal Dawn Collective. Deep Roots, Wide Branches. Oh, Edge of the Light Community. Edge of the Light. That's you're out there. Shoreline of Grace, Burning Ember, Journey's Haven, Beloved Mystery Fellowship. Just having some fun. I want to share some concerns, shifting gears. We already lifted up Lily James. Lily, we continue to hold you in our hearts and prayers for healing, post-surgery. We hold Grayson, Ellery and Cliff's great-grandson, who will be having surgery at some point here. He's a little guy, so hold Grayson in your hearts and prayers. And I always hold Frank Jopp and Elfrida in heart and prayer for strength and healing, and Dolores Abad, continued strength and healing. And I had Jim Peterson on my list, but I think I saw him somewhere in the back. So Jim, we're happy that you're with us. We'll keep you in our prayers anyways. Absolutely, always. Carolyn Scheuer gave me a note that my brother Larry, career Navy, passed away in Nashville, Tennessee. Holding you in our hearts. Prayers, Carolyn, for your loss. Elizabeth Cohn, my friend Michael Del Niro, fell on a sidewalk, cobblestone sidewalk in Dunedin and broke his left kneecap. Ouch. Hold him in our prayers, and we also hold Lizbeth in our hearts and prayers. It sounds like there's going to be a surgery soon to alleviate some of this pain, right? Yes, okay. We celebrate that as a joy, but also as a concern, and hold you in our hearts as well. And Lily James got that. That's our joy, that's our concerns. As the mystic Howard Thurman prayed so beautifully, Lord, Lord, open unto me, open unto us the fullness of your presence in the stilling time. Kindle your gentle flame within our minds and bodies and spirits, and rest with us in the stillness. So let us together make a time of silent prayer together. The sound of the bull's waves washing over us. Let us now invoke the names of those people, places, and situations that are on our hearts this day. Please say them aloud if you so choose. Oh, Francis, yes.
United States, orders of justly being declared. Federal workers. Jack. Wes. Frank. The Gulf of Mexico. Deanna. Over LGBTQ drinks.
Surely there are many more. We hold in in the silence of our hearts who just don't even have the words for just yet. For all these hopes and concerns and worries, we pray this day that they might find healing, wholeness, and hopeful resolution, and a whole lot of peace. And for gratitude, let's not forget about gratitude this day, joy. I invite you just to meditate for just a moment on something that brings you immense joy. Envision that person or that place or that thing, and just hold it in your mind's eye for just a moment. Let it bring a smile to your lips and heart. For all our joys and gratitude, let us just say thank you, thank you, thank you. I wonder now if you'll join me in that ancient prayer that Jesus asked us to pray so long ago. We call it the Lord's Prayer. And I want you to choose your most cherished image, whether that be the traditional father or mother or creator or something else that's meaningful for you. Will you join me in the Lord's Prayer? Our Creator, power and glory forever. Amen. Amen. A couple of announcements here. Today, following our service here, we'll have the third installment of the Waking Up White series. So if you're going to partake in that, maybe go get some hospitality. I think there's sandwiches in the back again today. Yep, sandwiches in the back. And then come on in here and we'll get that group going. Sounds like it's been a really meaningful conversation. Yeah, what I've heard of it. Wonderful. Oscars party, if you're into that. Same day as Mardi Gras, March 2nd. So you can do Mardi Gras, go home and rest for a bit, and come back for an Oscars party. You want to watch the Oscars with some folks. At 5:30, we have a red carpet. We'll be, and there's photos, a red carpet and everything, so it sounds like a great time. Wear your formal attire, including tuxedo t-shirts. Those are just fine as well. So that's next Sunday. International Women's Day, Annam Cara, coming up Saturday, March 8th. Maybe we'll do a special announcement on that next week so we can get some more information about that. But just mark your calendars now and plan to come out for what surely is a powerful day as we enter into International Women's Month. We'll be Black History Month and go into International Women's Month. So we'll celebrate that fully here. This is a great way to do so. Anything we need to highlight on here, Lori, that we didn't get through last week? No. I'll put it out. I'll put it in a newsletter. So, yeah, unless you have anything you want to add to it. No. Nope. Okay. Yeah. March 12th is the next meeting of Indivisible, right? And that's no, that's not this. That's the social justice meeting. That's right. Yeah. Okay. And the 4th will be Indivisible here. So if you're interested, talk to Julie, talk to Lori, and they will get you more information about all of that. As always, I just want to say thank you for your generosity, your giving. We did another 200 pounds of food this week, folks. We're not even here. I think it's over that even. So by my calculations, we're at almost 2,000 pounds of food this year, and it's not even the end of February. So we did like 6,000 last year, something like that, 5,500. So we're well on track to beat what we did last year. And we got to retake that #1 church spot because someone stole it from us last year. I think there's something going on there. I'm not going to make any accusations, but something happened there. It's a rigged election somewhere along the lines, and there was a big cash donation that came in at the end, which is all good. Don't get me wrong, but so we're going to reclaim this year. This is our year. But I just want to say thank you for your giving, your generosity. If you are visiting with us, you're like, I'd love to support the work of this place, this Howard Thurman community. We have plates on the back table. If you're online, just go to our website at faithucc.org, and we'll get you on that same newsletter list. Well, now we got to sing. We're going to sing our way out of here. Before we do, I wish you an amazing week. I hope it's peaceful. I hope you can focus on some gratitude and some joy. Watch the news as much as you can take. Otherwise, go to a baseball game, get outside and enjoy the beach. Spend time with loved ones, read a book. Just do something else that, we can't check out. We can never check out. We got to stay checked in, but we got to mitigate a little bit. So make it a good week of doing just that. And Mardi Gras next week, come in your most colorful clothing and let's have a great time. And then we go into the quiet time of Lent. So Lent is upon us. I can't believe I'm even saying that, but it's here. Seems like we just had Christmas, didn't it? We're getting close to the next Christmas. You better start your shopping. Let's rise up in body or spirit and join our voices in our peace song, Let There Be Peace on Earth, and let it begin with us.